Good morning to you, and of course, thanks for joining us here on this Thursday morning. I'm John Mayer.
And I'm Lily Taylor. October 23rd.
Yeah,
Bree had her countdown earlier. We're already days away from Halloween.
It's not far off at all, and it definitely has been feeling like it, well, at least up until the past day or so.
Yeah.
Starting to see some change out there, and I mean, really, that says it all right there on that map, Briana.
Yeah, over the last couple of days, we've been seeing nearly a 30-degree cooling trend for the east side of the Cascades, and now we're starting to see a little bit more orange and yellow, signaling a warm-up for some areas. And again, all of this ahead of quite the activity that's going to be working its way on in. We're going to keep it a little bit warmer and clearer throughout majority of your day. We're talking from these early morning mid to low 40s for some areas into 50s territory gradually throughout the afternoon. And yeah, breezier to gustier winds. That's one thing you really want to keep in mind throughout today and even once again into tomorrow. We work our way past those 40s into 50s and even 60s territory. And hey, by the afternoon, evening hours, we could be seeing a chance at some 70s. All of this ahead of, well, that cooler and weather headed our way, of course. So coming up in that full forecast, we'll track out just how much rainfall could make its way on in and what your weekend could look like.
LSB Live is sponsored by Alpha Towing and Recovery.
All right, thanks for that, Briana. Of course, a lot to keep track of. We'll look forward to the rest of that forecast coming up. But our live shot buddy right now, keeping track of how things have been shaping up over at the airport right now in Eugene. You can tell there's certainly some flights getting ready to get going here so far this morning. Thankfully, all of those have been on time. No big delays or cancellations to report. We've also been seeing some relatively quiet conditions out there for the most part, though we do have a little update on that incident that we were tracking yesterday throughout the morning over at 35th Street in Springfield. Some good news. That road now reopened, though crews are still working there. That was the incident that took down a whole line of power poles. So yeah, still expecting to see some work, but at least that road now reopened.
Democratic Senator Jeff Merkley has made history with the fourth longest Senate floor speech ever. The Oregon lawmaker spoke for more than 22 hours in protest of what he called President Trump's, quote, grave threats to democracy. Merkley began speaking Tuesday evening, warning the nation was facing its biggest threat since the Civil War. Republicans called the speech grandstanding.
Every time you hear Trump or Russ Vought or a cabinet member say, we shut down that program or we shut down that grant because it didn't align with our mission priorities, you are hearing a hugely authoritarian statement.
It's purely performance art. He's trying to put on a show for his base back home, his political base.
Senator Merkley admitted he almost fainted during the marathon speech, having gone without food or water since Monday morning. And we are now on day 23 of the government shutdown, and Congress remains at a stalemate over whether to let private health care insurance discounts expire.
And now we're also learning more about what exactly the expiration of those subsidies could mean for Oregonians. Vasily Varlamos with more.
Open enrollment for health care coverage begins on November 1st, and there's still lots of uncertainty on how much those who rely on private insurance will have to pay. The uncertainty is over the Affordable Care Act health care subsidies, which are set to expire at the end of the year.
What that means is that the amount of financial assistance that pretty much anyone receiving through the marketplace will be reduced.
So if the subsidies expire, what will it mean for Oregonians who rely on private coverage? According to OHA, private enrollees will pay on average between $127 and $456 more monthly. 140,000 Oregonians rely on private insurance. This mostly impacts people that either work in or own a small business. If the government remains closed in the coming weeks, many people may need to choose a plan without knowing exactly how much it will cost them.
There's a lot of different health plans out there that will likely still meet your health needs.
The Oregon Health Insurance Marketplace is a tool recommended by OHA that acts as a one-stop shop for those looking for healthcare coverage. Spokesperson Amy Cohen says there are free-of-cost experts that can help those looking for new options find the right one.
What they'll be able to do is look at the current plan that you have, what your health needs are, for example, your doctors and your prescriptions, and then help you can consider what other health plans might meet those needs and still be within budget for you.
Cohen recommends that people utilize the marketplace instead of enrolling directly with insurers because the marketplace will lay out all options side by side and ensure you get the best bang for your buck.
Now, people that have been looking for private coverage, they'll still have until January 30th to enroll. Meanwhile, a crime track this morning has yet another burglary, potentially tied to a crime ring that's targeted Asian American residents around Eugene, being reported back on Tuesday, just days before a public safety forum that's set on that exact same subject.
We had a chance to talk with members of the Asian American Council in our studio yesterday to discuss the forum. We wanted to know their perspective on the city of Eugene recently disabling flock cameras, since EPD is quoted in crediting the technology with helping them make a break in the 2-year-long case.
You know, I have a little bit of a unique perspective on that one because I was chair of the police commission actually when the first wave of public comment started happening. And so as an Asian business owner, as part of this demographic targeted by this burglary ring, I am grateful that EPD was able to utilize the technology to apprehend the suspects. On the other side of things, though, from seeing the myriad of public comments that have come to the surface, I'm very sensitive to the concerns that have been voiced by the public, and I'm really grateful that City Council has decided to pause and thoughtfully consider the ramifications of this technology.
The forum will take place at the Korean Presbyterian Church tonight at 6:30 alongside local police chiefs, the Lane County District Attorney, and a representative from the Oregon Department of Justice will be present. It's the 1-year mark for Lane County's deflection program, which offers a potential path to avoid jail for drug possession and low-level crimes.
Yeah, and while the numbers look low for completion rates, Lane County deflection program still defending those numbers. Lane County saying 173 participants out of 264 have been removed from that program for reasons including things like no contact with their peer navigator, no show for intake, or for non-compliance. Program itself, that launched last October. Participants have been referred by local agencies. That includes Eugene Police, Springfield Police, most referrals for possession of a controlled substance, no crime self-referrals, and even for non-drug related crimes. But during an open house yesterday at a treatment house, District Attorney Chris Perosa telling our Gold Meadows that the numbers are a success, at least when stacked against the justice system's results. Here's a snippet from that interview.
As of the 1-year mark, the program has had 264 total participants, 23 total graduates.
Yes.
That's about a close to 9%.
Right.
Why is that considered a success?
We started slow. The bottom line was we started late and we started slow. So we didn't start our program until October 18th of 2024, which was about a month and a half after recriminalization happened. When we started, it took some time ultimately for law enforcement to build the trust in the program to ultimately begin to see the referrals come in. Since that time, we've expanded the criteria for who can be eligible for deflection. Our law enforcement partners are better educated on what the program is and how it is affecting lives, and they are more trusting in the program, putting more people into the program. So while it looks like we only have 23 graduates, we're about to graduate 14 or 15 more here in a couple of weeks. There are quite a few groups right behind that are looking to graduate as well.
Are there changes that you've started to make just based off of what you're learning?
Yes. Yeah, so we were told as we began to study what deflection was initially that we should try and start small. So initially we had unlawful possession of controlled substances and then a few quality of life crimes that we included within it, criminal trespass, criminal mischief, some of those types of crimes that were eligible. And through time, we've begun to expand the types of charges that can ultimately be included within this program. That we are at about 40-45% of people who are successfully completing or at least successfully still engaged in the program is a massive success for us.
Now, program services do include things like housing, wraparound services, drug addiction treatment plans. For most of the 72 people that are still enrolled in the deflection program, charges will not be filed unless those people fail to complete the program.